People, what's going on? I feel like talking. It's Thursday. I believe it is the 21st, I thought. Yesterday was the 21st, but yesterday was the 20th. Now, let me put my glasses on and look at this calendar. It is the 21st of May. I'm having the cup of coffee that I can have for the day. I've had to cut down so I can eventually get some dental work done. As always, I have a lot on my mind. This will be a mixed bag of music and commentary, okay? My first comment is musical. I still have my Muse shirt on because this is the album of the year for me already. And I don't hear a lot of new records. I mean, I get to sample them online, but they don't get sent to me, so I don't get to sit with them. But this is definitely album of the year for Dereck Higgins. Now, something else might come out, or maybe I'll get a chance to hear something in depth that's been released this year that will blow my mind, but it hasn't happened yet except for this. Mew Plus Minus is the album of the year to my ears. And I just want to tell you why as much as I can, because I thought about this as I was struggling to sleep last night. I had a show last night, and RAF played sloppily, but it was a dynamic show. Quite a few friends came to see us. Thank you, friends, for coming out, and they loved it. But as I struggled with trying to get some sleep, I had this on the player, and I've been listening to this on repeat. I love it when this happens. Not every band that I like does this to me. Other bands that do this to me when their stuff comes out and it's really good are Dead Can Dance, in the past Peter Gabriel, the early Genesis, Ryuichi Sakamoto's work. When Slow Dive first happened, I played that. If I'd had it on vinyl, it would have been white. I couldn't play it enough. The House of Love is, and those are some other ones. Has this happened to me with jazz music? Not so much. The jazz music that has hit me like this, where I play it over and over like a pop song, is stuff like Crossings by Herbie Hancock, or Sextant, or Live Evil by Miles Davis, or Eric Dolphy's Out to Lunch, or Albert Eiler's Spiritual Unity. Those are jazz albums that have had this effect on me, where I have to play it over and over again. Not a lot of other records. I like a lot of music. I wish I could play this for you to try to share with you my experience of this music. It's deceptive because it sounds like pop music, and it is pop music, but it is very progressive, and there's a lot going on. That's why I like it, because the more I listen to it, the more the layers are revealed. They don't sound American at all, and I like that. I really like that there is nothing American about this sound, and there are no obvious references to roots like folk or blues or country. I like that a lot. There is a rhythmic reference on my current favorite track on here, Chasing a Bad Dream, I believe is it. It's a rhythmic thing that they're doing. Clinging to a Bad Dream is my current favorite. And they're doing this rhythm, which goes back to the roots of the entire planet, which is Africa. It's a very African rhythm, but at the same time, it's not African. That's just the origin. We all come from the same source. This music is Muse. This African rhythm belongs to these Danish boys as much as it belongs to the people of Africa. So glad that they recognize it, because they play the shit out of it on this album. This album is badass. Yes, I'm enthusing, because this doesn't happen often, that an album really transforms me. Now, I'll qualify it again. If I had access to more new records, in my hand to play over and over again, there might be something else that's come out this year that would have this effect on me, but that's not the case. Something else is that Jonas Bjerre's voice is a phenomenon. His range is phenomenal, very low to very high, and he pushes it on purpose. Throughout the album, he's pushing the limits of what he can do with his voice, which is brave. And there are multiple layers of vocal things going on in this album that only reveal yourself after a while. There's all these sub melodies and harmonic things going on in the songs, and then you start to listen and pick it apart and say, oh, that's not an instrument, that's his voice. Incredible. The whole band is badass though, and Johan, the bass player coming back, is the ace in the hole. He is very important, a very important figure in the picture of new music. His contribution was definitely missing on the last album, and he makes a huge difference on this album. I'm glad he's back. Lyrically, these songs don't seem to make sense on the surface, and none of the songs make direct sense to me. It's like snippets of meaning, or like going inside of a person's head and watching the different trains of thought, how they go along parallel lines, and sometimes they cross or come together, and that's what these words are like. Because I like singing his melody so much, I do end up looking at what are the words so I can sing them, and many of them don't seem to have meaning but glimpses. It's almost like phrases are used in a way that I can assign it personal meaning to me. It's almost like that last line is about my life, even though, it's not. So I'm going to enthuse at length about this album, how brilliant Muse Plus Minus is. Best album I've heard this year. My album of the year already in May. I'm not speaking for anyone else. Any of you folks that would like to come and tell me, what about? I'm speaking for Dereck, okay? Alrighty. And chances are you can tell me about a record that's good. I'd like to hear something really good, but I'd like for you to know how good this is and open your mind to it. Fucking fantastic ass band. Mew. Amazing band. The other thing I'd like to very happily sell is I'm literally about to sell out of my stock of Myths and Realities. I have 3 copies of this album left. That pleases me to no end. Yeah, I'm hyped up and happy. I'm feeling good. I'm hyped up. And I'm full of life. I don't know that I'm necessarily happy. I guess I'm happy, but I got a lot on my mind. Some of it is sad, actually. But when these are gone, you can still get the album from the label in Greece, okay? But I have 3 copies left. That feels really good. And you folks that have just ordered, I'm waiting for my record mailers. They should be in today so I can get these out, okay? The other thing I want to say is people are really responding to Myths and Realities. But I will boldly say, because I am the person making the music, this is not my best record. It is not my best record. It's not my best record. And if you like me, if you like what I do, and you still haven't quite come around to this, it's there. Fly over. This is some of my best work. Now, of course, someone will say, well, you're too close to it, you can't be objective. Well, that's what you say, but I'm a music lover, and I make this music to satisfy me. So I'll say it very, very confidently. This is some of my best work. Fly over. And even with the complaints I've shared with you about the pressing, the fact that I can hear it, I don't want to hear nothing. Murphy, this is some of my best work. I'll put it in a context like this, because this is how it goes. So right now, some of you all who like my music like this and get it and feel it. You can feel it. Others don't feel it quite yet or whatever. But I'm going to tell you this, because this is how it goes, okay? these records will be celebrated when I'm dead, okay? This is because this is how it always goes, okay? I can just see in my mind the writer or the person who discovers this or whoever cashes in on this when I'm gone, how they will wax enthusiastically about the uniqueness of this sound. And a guy from Omaha, a black guy from Omaha, Nebraska, making music like this, no real context for it around him. How unique. I'm still here, folks, and you can get the records now. Again, because it is my nature to just be like this. You know I'm not like a typical person. I'll say what I'm thinking. There would be someone who'll watch this and hear me saying these things and just pshaw me like, he's just full of ego and shit, Even though that may be partially true, what I'm saying is also true. When I'm dead, these records will be rediscovered and talked about. But I'm here now, okay? You can try to argue with me, but I watch music history, music news all the time. Been following it since I was a child. Constantly, this is the way that discovered music is being marketed. Undiscovered masterpiece. Lone musician in his bedroom that no one knew about. Tapes discovered. Amazing music. I'm here now, and this music is amazing, okay? Let me have a piece of the pie. Come on. No diss to the people of Numero Uno, but for fuck's sake, Numero Uno has made a career out of records that the people who made them, a lot of those people they couldn't do nothing. They couldn't sell them. End up giving them away or burning them, or chopping them up because out of frustration. I know personal stories where this has been done, where people have a record made and then they can't sell it, and their dreams are destroyed, and they burn them, or they run them over in complete despair. That's not me, people. I'm not asking for much. I'm not like these greedy goddamn politicians asking for everything and then lying to you, telling you we're doing it for yours favor when it's just for them. I'm just saying my music is good. Buy it. Have some. And then folks that like that colored vinyl, I did this on purpose. So you have the blue, but look at this one. This sounds great. It's a good pressing too. It's a good quiet pressing. Flyover's a killer album. It is. Okay, so let me move on. I do have some social commentary I want to make before it goes away. I have more music to review, but I'll come back to that in another video. Okay. It made the national news that yesterday in Omaha, a policewoman was killed in the line of duty trying to serve a warrant on a felon gang member. She was a good policeman. I knew her. I worked with her. I didn't know her real close, but as I said, in my last years of being a licensed mental health professional, I worked as part of a team that did training with Omaha Police on trying to help them to become more adept and sensitive to dealing with mental health issues on the job. And so I worked with her. And it's so sad and ironic that one of the good policemen is the one that goes down. There are a lot of good policemen, but it has to be recognized that there is like a hornet's nest of deep-seated racist philosophy and belief in this country that goes straight to the top of power, all the way through the lines of power in our country, including the police. Okay? So there is a huge racist element in the police system of this country, directly connected to elite power. Okay? And she was one who busted her buns, showing that she wasn't part of that. She worked with the inner city kids. She was at the Boys and the Girls Club, My heart is broken, okay? My heart is broken. Other thing I want to say about it, that really dismays me about my state of Nebraska is this. Well, the first thing is I'm happy that yesterday the legislature repealed the death penalty. It's, of course, going to be appealed or it could be vetoed by the governor, who is crooked, and it's well known he's crooked, and yet he became the governor. Well known crook. And the blind people who think that these crooks are out for them voted him in. Anyway, he probably wants it back. But so these things, so what's sad is that the local redneck conservative news is framing the death of the police officer with the repeal of the death penalty as though, oh, look, isn't it ironic that the day that one of our finest gets killed, that they've repealed the death penalty? There is no connection. The only thing that the death penalty has ever done has been to satisfy a notion in someone's mind that it's justice. Death penalty doesn't work. Look at the world for the proof, okay? If you live in a little bubble where you don't know shit and you just want to be thinking, your little thoughts, then you'll cling to your fantasy like a lot of people do. People cling to their fantasies. It's not based in anything. It's just based in something they were taught and they want to believe. Death penalty doesn't work. And so I'm glad that we repealed it, but I'm really dismayed at the hateful, conservative element in Nebraska that is so selfish and blind. And they're a perfect example of the kind of people that are running things. I'm almost done here. So, if I could be in a position of power, which I'm not, except to the power of my voice, I want to make it clear that I am not anti-rich people, I'm not anti-white people, I'm not anti-people. What I'm anti is I'm anti-non-benevolent concepts that drive actions. And the world is still being driven by actions that ultimately appear to me to go back to what is the motivation here? Gain, profit, greed, keeping it like it is. That's what I see, because in my mind, a truly benevolent, truly caring, wise, wonderful leader would set aside his personal desires to work towards a good for everyone. Especially the reason why American government is so shit now is because we're such liars. Our leaders are such liars. And they still they just insist on making it, they think it's going to work. It is working, so they keep doing it. They lie and say they represent us. Every time they get what they want, the result shows us, oh, that was another lie. They just wanted this. They got it. Here's the backlash of it, or here's the damage caused by it. A good example is the Santa Barbara oil spill that's happening right now in California. Did I get it right, Santa Barbara? Don't diss me just because I might have said the wrong thing. It doesn't change the fact that something disastrous is happening, okay? That's another thing that gets to me, is that people are protesting shale oil wanting to drill in Alaska, and pinheaded people think that they're clever by pointing out that some of the people protesting are in rafts made out of oil products. It's like, people, we got a much bigger problem here than for you folks to feel good about being clever and pointing the finger about hypocrisy. These people are trying to do something to save all of us. My goodness, this short-sightedness, what I consider immature way of looking at things is a big part of the problem that I directly connect to the education system and also to the system of employment in America that I saw spinning out of control as a little boy, which is our parents are so hard-pressed to keep the job, do a good job, make the money, and feed the family. They don't have any energy, time, or anything left for the thing that they said that they're doing this for, which is the family. And it's increasingly over the decades gotten further and further this way. People don't have time, nor anymore do many people even realize that they need to raise and love these children that they've, you don't just feed them and buy them stuff. You spend time with them and nurture them. And I see all this as the fallout of a system that is based on economics, where in an ideal world, the economic base could work, but it's totally corrupt because of the greed factor. Okay? So that's on my mind. And the policewoman's death, the hypocrisy and the double standard of the way that the Waco bikers situation is being handled by the news, it's just very distressing. Very distressing and disappointing. And what's even more disappointing to me is how it seems like the average person does not fathom what I'm talking about. And so it's allowed to continue. These are my concerns, and I just need to share them, man, I would love to be able to have a conversation, I've done it in the past, with someone in power, to talk to the man face to face about these things. Because when I was working with a lobbyist in the legislature, I had conversations where politicians, you get on one, and all the bullshit goes aside, and you're basically told, listen, you got nothing for me, okay? This is how it goes, okay? There's nothing in it. There's nothing in this for me, so you leave me alone. I've had that said to me by politicians, more than one, to a word. There's nothing in this bill for me. My constituents don't care about this. The fog of, oh man. I wish I could have the words. There was a viral video recently where Jeb Bush was confronted by a young lady who confronted him about the fact that his brother George Bush created ISIS, and just really, and she was so intelligent, she just handled him. He got to the point where he showed his true colors, which is, I'm an idiot, I'm living in fantasy, and we respectfully disagree with you. Can't talk facts. They don't talk facts. Okay, that's about enough for today. Be the last person to own this album. I got 3 copies left. When I sell the 3rd one, if that happens today, I'm going to get back on here and make a video celebrating. It's a personal achievement. Okay, I love it when my records sell out. It's a good feeling. It is. It's a feeling of accomplishment. I finally sold out of this. There's copies in the stores in Omaha, but I'm sold out. This sold out right away. In less than a month, there's only 100 copies. This is sold out. I understand there's a copy in Omaha, a black vinyl copy, somewhere in Omaha. Maybe people are selling their copies now. I don't know. Again, the Dereck 3 and 2 are songs and material where, from the body of work that myths and realities come from, where I attempted to make the best versions available to me technology-wise at the time. So myths and realities is a continuation of this work. Nice, Dereck number 2, and Dereck number 3. These are all 4 of these are from the same body of work. And it is a wonderful feeling, sense of accomplishment to, even though it's just a couple records, to say it's sold out. It's not the same as saying I sold 1 million, but that ain't the point. If somebody likes the music, somebody wants it, and they buy it. It's a wonderful feeling of accomplishment. I watch my videos to but to see, did I make the sense that I wanted to make? And I sometimes encourage people to watch my videos more than once because it's not about me, it's what is coming through me. There is information that I'm sharing that is that could be helpful to someone besides myself. So listen more than once, you know what I'm saying? The last point I'll try to remake is I say firmly, from my perspective, that a true benevolent, caring leader of the people would not be on the course of trajectory that our so-called leaders are on now. To me, it is very clear that what they're doing is masquerading as representatives while all the time all they're doing is lining their pockets and making sure that they have the good life. That's not what they were elected for.